The path from devout Christian schoolgirl to Playboy Centerfold is bound to be a complicated one, full of saintly twists and sinful turns. For Jenny McCarthy, it's been a ride worthy of a brand new memoir where she comes clean about her religious roots, including a childhood desire to become a nun. She took ABC's Juju Chang back to the home where she grew up for a trip down memory lane.
Oh my God, looking at these houses, it's so sweet. It's so sweet to look back.
It's here, driving down the streets of Chicago's South Side.
I grew up on the second house to the right, and my basketball hoop is still up in the backyard. Oh my God, everything looks smaller.
That Jenny McCarthy's past illuminates who she's become.
And the basement is where, of course, Satan lived. Of course.
We showed up unannounced.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
I used to live here.
Yes, I do know that.
You do know that?
Yes.
And this is Nightline. So I hope you don't mind, but can we take a look?
Going with McCarthy to her childhood home takes her back to her very humble roots.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die right now.
She grew up very fast in the public eye as a sexy pinup girl for Playboy, but in her bedroom, she was deeply religious.
We used to lay with rosaries and statues all over our body because we thought that that would protect us from Satan. And when Joanne fell asleep, I would steal them off of her to put them on me.
Well, that's logical.
I used to have Jesus poster. The Pope was over there. Flaming Heart of Jesus was over there. And then I had some I Love Jesus t-shirts and bags hanging up.
Truly, Jesus was your Bieber.
Jesus was my Bieber, all right. He still is.
Hysterical.
Yo, Jesus.
She became a household name co-hosting MTV's Singled Out in the 90s, but has kept her claim to fame these days as a 6-time New York Times best-selling author. Her latest, Bad Habits, is all about her childhood, growing up poor.
We really were hungry a lot of the nights.
And quite pious.
This is the church I went to twice a week.
Both left a deep mark on McCarthy.
Your whole life has been about fear. Fear of going to hell or fear of poverty.
Yeah. It has made me a better person. It has made me work harder. And I think everybody needs some type of motivation. I used to put on shows like a talk show, and this was my audience. I have the chairs lined up like this.
She's always been driven, and especially these days, as a single mom to her 10-year-old son, Evan.
I wouldn't be nearly as driven if I wasn't a single mother. If I had someone to depend on financially to help me out, I might slow it down a bit, but no, I am a workhorse.
You really are.
I am.
Yeah. I mean, you've got so much going on.
Thank God.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Sinners can have a place in this world.
But despite her religious upbringing, McCarthy was a rebel. She worked as a cashier for a grocery store for 5 years, and it was here
They moved the register.
that she figured out her way out was to pose for Playboy.
Guys would come in to buy them. They'd ask for them, and I'd pick it up and I'd throw it at them like this, and then bring it up. But it gave me the idea. I was like, well, if these chicks can do it, I'm sitting here in this store. Why couldn't I do it?
And she did, just 21 years old. Eventually, she was named Playmate of the Year.
When Hef said, you're Playmate of the Year, I went, oh my God, yes, and oh my God, no. I literally went to my car and cried. I cried for about an hour that I was Playmate of the Year because I thought, now that really ensured my entry into hell.
Extremely devout Christians who straddled multiple jobs to send their 4 daughters to Catholic school, her parents were distraught.
My mom was the one that was like, I only have 3 daughters now. Like, cut the knife.
Ouch.
And, I cried and was like, and I begged her, I was like, listen, you raised me to be a good person. This was my only option to get out there. I will be a playmate that does something great, Mom. Trust me and stand by me.
And they did. When McCarthy got that $100,000 check for being Playmate of the Year, she gave the money to her parents and moved them to the suburbs.
To them, I could see what bittersweet feels like. They cried. They were happy and sad all at the same time because they didn't envision the daughter having to do that to help them out,
She moved to Hollywood and grew disillusioned with her faith, but used it when touring as Playmate of the Year.
Literally, guys would be like, so, what are you doing after this? You're so beautiful. I think that, we have this connection that we should maybe walk on the beach later. And I would go, well, as long as we can also bring Jesus, my Savior.
Still, she admits that she was prone to using men to get through difficult periods of her life.
Did you use men as a drug?
I would say yes. but not sexually. I would use them as distractions for my own life. For instance, when Evan was diagnosed with autism, I quickly got into a relationship just to distract from the pain that I was going through. So I got in a relationship with Jim Carrey at the time, and really allowed my mind to get caught up in you know,
The romance.
the romance, to numb from really what was going through.
She turns 40 next month, and after a long-term relationship with Carrie and recently with football player Brian Urlacher, McCarthy is single again. She still doesn't believe in God, but that doesn't mean she's given up on her wild side.
You constantly break this sexy girl stereotype by being smart and savvy and entrepreneurial, and then you go and pose for Playboy again. What's
crazy?
up with that?
Stereotyping is the biggest mistake that you can ever do on anybody. I am an amazing mother. I am an amazing, I think, author and workhorse. And I'm also an amazing, like, fun, wannabe sexy kind of girl.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in Chicago.